I've resolved myself to the fact that people not gonna leave me alone. They can't do it. They won't do it, or they can't do it. Either way, um, I had a couple of interesting conversations today, and I'd made a short about a family, someone in the family telling my sister that she should vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. As you know, I have no problem with Vice President Kamala Harris being the pick for the Democrats, because that's who they chose. Just like Donald Trump's Republicans have picked him. You can't be mad at who other people are picking as their candidate, but you should be informed. And there was a friend of the families that we've known their family forever. We actually grew up together. His name is Earl, and he told my sister he should just go ahead and vote for Kamala Harris no matter what, and don't vote for me, your sister, just because she's your sister. When people realize and they look at her in depth, even if you glance at her, you should know she doesn't have policies that promote you. These people are for middle class. I've always said that. They stated it over and over again. If you're not the middle class, what they consider middle class, they're not doing anything that's going to benefit you. So my sister said to me today, you know what? I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris. I said, why? It was just last week that she said she was. And she said, you were right about her. I started, watching stuff and seeing what, people were saying. And you're right. So I said, right. And so that is why I came back to you and I said, because she said, Earl didn't say anything negative about voting for you or anything. I said, no, he said what everybody says when somebody new tries to come into the fray. When somebody new that's not in the two cliques try to say, you know what, here's another choice. They say, oh, you got to vote because we got to get rid of this one, because I've done it myself. But this is not the time. This is not the time to do that. You guys understand that there's 200 million voting Americans. All total, there's 340 of us approximately. Said to my sister, listen, don't just take what Earl is saying carte blanche and then run out and say, I'm going to vote for Kamala. Kamala Harris, Emhoff, Emhoff, is not a black woman. If you put her next to me in a situation, any situation, not just a bad one, she will not have the same reaction. She will not garner the same emotions as me standing here being a full black woman. And it's always something. I'm not talking about the hue of her skin. I'm not, or the texture of her hair. I'm talking about the fact that, we are having a whole controversy over DACA. Her parents did what the DACA kids did. Her parents did exactly what the Dreamers' parents did. So please stop thinking that you have a black American representing you. She was not. Her parents did what Vivek Ramaswamy's parents did. And the lady said, well, we're not going to vote for you, and culture. Oh, we don't feel comfortable voting for you because, yes, you were born in America, but you're an Indian. What makes Kamala Harris any different? BUC. I'd get it right. That does not make this woman black. And I said in my last video, why can't we celebrate the fact that, one, it is a woman that's running to be in the White House, but she's not the first, and she's not the only one. She's not going to be the last. So Shirley Chisholm is the first black woman. And so sometimes I say, I want to see a person black like me. If I were Hawaiian, I would want to see someone Hawaiian run for president of the United States. If I was Asian, I would say, as an Asian, I want to see an Asian person in there. Stop trying to pass this woman off as black to me and people like me. It is insulting. And it is, once again, You're taking something from us because you're presenting someone who is not us. She's not looked at as us. She doesn't speak like us. She doesn't think like us. She doesn't feel like us. Why? Because she's not had our experience in America. So until I see a black woman like myself being the president, she's not black to me. They took Donald Trump's comments completely out of context. He's feeding to the fear and the prejudices of the people that are supporting him. But what he's saying is true. She never went around from her infancy up until she got into her college years like President Barack Obama and realized, oh, people will think that I'm actually black because I have a black parent. And that's just because some of my features gave it away. Most of Kamala's, Vice President Kamala's features don't even give it away that she is black. You know she's mixed with something, but you can't look and say that it's black. And then her father is an Aryan African German. Is she black? We don't do one little drop makes you black. That's been dispelled a long time ago. But when I say black, she's not a black American, even if she is African. And this is the birther thing that they had with Barack Obama. Again, Donald Trump playing into the fears. See, Donald Trump wasted his 4 years, and he wasted his time doing things like that to get people to vote for him. He's no more or less prejudiced than Joe Biden is. And if Joe Biden has conformed, then so has Donald Trump. Joe Biden has conformed to the Democrats to get the Democrats to vote for him, black ones. And Donald Trump has conformed himself to the racist and fearful whites in his party. So they've done the same thing. And this is a world, America's a world or a nation where there is the real number probably closer to 600 million. But on the census as of 2020, 340 million people. About 200 of those participate in our elections, 200 million or so, approximately. With 200 million Americans who may or may not be of age to vote. So that's why that number drops when you say, well, there's 200 million of us, but there's not 200 million of us that's 18 or older and able to vote, right? So you get a fraction of that 200 million. The other are disabled or their children. So they're not really counted. If you bring over 200 million illegal migrants and let them come into the country and set up a residence, and once they set up that residence, they can vote, which is what Representative Jasmine, see, you got too much when your papers fall. I went over this yesterday, so I'm not going to go and do the whole thing all over again. But I do want to show just real quick, so I can put this up, where James Comer, especially the part that's highlighted, this is the summary and purpose of legislation HR 192. It prohibits individual or non-citizens from voting in the District of Columbia local elections, and it repeals the Local Resident Voting Rights Act Amendment. Well, here's the background and the need for legislature. The need for the legislature. December 21st, 2022, the district government enacted the Local Residents Voting Rights Amendment Act, DC Law 24-0242, which allows non-citizens, including illegal immigrants, to vote in the DC local elections. Why is that important? Because in your local elections, we always take our local people and we put them in the House of Representatives. They apply for the higher office. And then from that office, they go to be senators. And then from those senators, they pick who can be in the running and in the line to be president. So that's why this thing with Kamala Harris being the presidential pick, this was done a while back. Joe Biden already knew, and I did a video, that he was not going to run again. But He wanted to run, get in office, and then come out. So he didn't make it because they couldn't disguise his whatever you want to call it. The man is not able to be confident enough to run the presidency. So she was already selected. And why was she selected? Because of who she's married to, because of who she has dealt with in the past. There's a path that you come through in either of these two parties, and it's no different in the Republican Party. It is no different. That's how they got to J.D. Vance, because they said now our party has to have somebody with this background and this kids that went to this school that knows this person. It's all a small clique, and it's thrown in our face and shoved down our throats. Now you tell me, the rest of this says the act makes no exception for foreign diplomats and agents voting in the district. These individuals often have interests separate from or opposed to the interest of Americans. And this is the part that the Senate didn't like, because those diplomats are lobbyists that the Democrats and the Republicans in Congress, that's how they do their money and do their backdoor deals. Because if you think they're only getting that 250,000 a year for, whatever their housing costs, traveling and expenses, the CONUS, and then the base salary is once 175,000. But by the time they get their fringe benefits and their bonuses and travel money, it totals about $250,000 per senator and per representative in the House of Representatives. That's their salary and benefits per year. But that's who these people are, these diplomats and stuff. Okay, so the DC Act dilutes the votes of American citizens and could have a ripple effect across other large U.S. cities. They're already doing it in, I believe, either New Mexico or the state of Washington. And they're already doing it in California, letting them vote once they establish residence. So that's 3 that I know of. Backlash to the DC Act was swift, including amongst Democratic policymakers. Mayor Bowser expressed opposition by withholding her signature of the act. It doesn't matter. It can still go in with the vote of the sitting Congress. If she vetoes it, they can just vote it. It's the same thing with the presidency. Something she has done only a handful of times over the course of her tenure. Even the Washington Post editorial board opposed the bill, writing that voting is a fundamental right of citizens. And then there's a footnote. This footnote here: DC is considering legislation to let non-citizens vote. That's a bad idea. It was posted in the Washington Post on October 17, 2022, at Hot Topics. Did I write that down? Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't. But you can pull that article. That's the title of the article. Okay, so the rest of this simply states that on February 9th, 2023, 260 members in the House voted in favor of Chairman James Comer's resolution of disapproval, HJ Res 24. I lost my spot. To block enactment of the DC Act. The resolution received bipartisan support, with 42 Democrat members voting with the Republicans. However, this bipartisan resolution has not been voted on in the Senate, and DC's non-voting citizens law has gone into effect. It was effective February, wherever this is, 9th of 2023. And the places, see, they do a lot of this. This is why I don't look at somebody and say, oh, they're black. Oh, they represent this person and they're black. Oh, there's just a white person and they're moderate. I'm not interested. What type of person are you? What's your morals? And are you an American? And I don't care what country you came from. If you're here in America and you've sworn to uphold the laws and your loyalty is to America as a legal immigrant. Even if you were illegal and you came here in 2014 and you made yourself legal, you're now an American. I got people on the internet talking about, well, migrants this and migrants that, and that's not fair. So I said, well, You said you were an immigrant. Why are you still calling yourself a migrant? That's question number one, because if you haven't made the pledge and the oath and you're listed as an immigrant, you still know you haven't taken that pledge. So you don't know the process, and you don't know that there's a pledge and they give you the book that tells you about the laws of the state of New Jersey for you to uphold, in the United States, not the state of New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. That in the United States, it's a reference for you. That little book, you sign it, you give a pledge, you put your hand on the Bible, you put the other one in the air, or you put it on whatever. Or if you don't have a religious thing, they don't make you do that. But the fact that you're saying you're an immigrant, but you're still referring to yourself as a migrant, means you're here illegally, because you don't know the process. And that's why the process takes a long time. All right, I'm getting off course. Let me just show you this. Again, this is Congress. This is the original proposal by the housing, the committee meetings, the committee, oversight and accountability. Any and every bill that goes before, that's a law or an annotation or an amendment, it has to go through here, because this committee here is where the attorneys sit down and they review the law, and then they go back and look at the old law and say, is this an annotation? It can't be, because it changes that. These people don't do it. They're the representatives that sit on the committee, and they get the reports from the CRS. All right. So this is when they did it. And do you see that date? 7/12/2023. The latest action. That's how long they've been doing this. Excuse me. The latest action. House on May 23rd, 2024. The title of the measure was amended. Agreed to without objection. Why would you amend this title? Why would you take this out? Why would you take and to repeal the Local Residents Voting Rights Act? Knowing that if you take that part out and you vote on the first part, you're trying to fool the public. You know how many people said to me, no, not lady, I looked it up. No, that's not true. Because it no longer says this. It no longer says this. All it says is this right now. See? House Resolution 192, May 23rd, 2024, 2 p.m. It now, on passage, it now says, to prohibit individuals who are not citizens of the United States from voting in elections in the District of Columbia. And then there's the vote. It was voted down. So if you look at it, it looks like the Democrats wanted illegal people to vote, and some Democrats, 52 of them, and 210 Republicans voted it down. No, they all voted it down. Because what are they doing right now? They're paying landlords to house these people because they don't want them on the street. Keep not saying you don't want to vote for me because I'm not in a suit. It's hot. I'm not going to wear a suit and go out and ask people to sign my petition and sign my ballot. But I'm not lying to you. You do not pass a bill without your party. And that is Vice President Kamala. That is President Trump with his people. That is President Biden with his people. The rest of us don't want any of these people. But I'm glad that my sister went and looked it up, because that is what I asked her to do. I said, I didn't even expect you to vote for me. I have pardon power. You know, 30% of our workforce are illegal migrants, and they give them grants. That's another bill. I have to pull up the bill to show you how they give them grants, $50,000, $100,000 to open the stores. They waive fees for them for registering your company and for registering your business. The ones that America see, the tax system doesn't work when 30% of it doesn't have to pay the FICA tax. All they're paying is their personal income tax, maybe some SALT, state and local taxes, but not too much. Because They have apartments, they have homes, but they don't pay into the FICA, and the federal funds or what's we are given to them is what is being used to help them establish themselves in America. Come on, people. Come on, y'all. The people that we have voted in are helping another set of people, illegal migrants. Now ask yourself why. They're helping them become established. Why aren't they helping us? Well, it's just economics and greed. That's why they won't make DACA citizens. They still have them in the air about their citizenship. They were brought here. They weren't brought here. Well, some of them, I think the Dreamers were brought here when they were small kids. So that makes sense. Let them get in line and go through the process. But because their parents committed a crime coming here and then intentionally getting pregnant, they have not let the Dreamers become American citizens. They were born here. They're American citizens by default. So if I'm president, I'm making them American citizens. If I'm president, 7% of the population born before 1990 is getting paid $1.5 million in reparations. No, it's not equivalent to 40 acres or 10 acres or 20 acres, but it's what I can afford to pay people that qualify as long as you have a relative, and it's based on lineage. It's not based on being discriminated as a Black person. I'm going to pay money for the people. $1,776 a week. That is an investment. It is tax exempt. The same thing with the reparations. No agency can use it as a resource to stop your benefits that you're currently getting. No one can garnish it. No one can sue you and get it. It is exempt. Both the reparation payment and no child support, nothing can come out of that money. And that is because if we don't take and invest money into our citizens, like we're doing with the illegal migrants, how are you going to get yourself out of debt, open up a t-shirt business, open up a jewelry business, open up whatever you want, write books and be able to pay to have it published, open up a website and be able to pay that? I'm giving that money out as an investment for two reasons: bring people out of poverty and to strengthen our GDP, gross domestic products, here on our land, so we don't have to rely so much on what's going on in another country. Those backdoor deals help the people that we put in, because over in Switzerland, I don't say too much about them, but that's the purpose of their banks. The silent partners. Yeah. And that's why some people, they do this. So Representative Jasmine Crockett was, arguing with Margaret Taylor Greene about eyelashes. And that's all we saw that whole week. That was on the 19th of May. And this was on the 23rd of May. You see? So for people who want to come at me and say, oh, you should be, I'm surprised you're not supporting Kamala Harris. First of all, I'm not supporting her because I'm tired of having everything being taken away from me. Now you're taking away from me and others like me the fact that there could be a first Black woman. She will not be the first Black woman. I'm very proud of her to be the first Asian Pacific woman, but she will not be the first Black woman. I have to go. My phone is ringing as usual. Hello? Yeah. Hold on one second. All right. I cut my foot, and I was just ending a live. Give me 1 second. All right, good people. I have to go. I just wanted to explain some things. You all have a good day. And remember, no matter what happens with politics, the world's not going to end. And please have a life outside of politics. Enjoy your day.